Good morning, gorgeous. Welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Michelle Daff, and I'm so happy that you're joining me today because we're talking about femininity and masculinity. I received a message from a young woman who said that she's in a relationship and she feels super masculine, but she wants to be feminine. So what's the issue? How can she be more feminine when she feels so masculine? Now, there can be so many reasons why she feels this way. I don't know. It could be that her partner told her that she's acting very masculine, or it could be that she's coming across content and realizing that she's just so far from what is deemed as feminine. But femininity is a feeling that you exude. You feel the femininity, and then you behave through whatever is going on the inside. So you can be told to smile, you can be told to dress really pretty, but you can still feel very masculine if what's going on the inside is not showing up. So this concept is really going to be tied to healing. I can rattle off tons of behaviors and things to do, but if you are not healed, those wounds are why you're not showing up as feminine. And we're going to talk about what some of those things look like and why it's so important in a relationship to have a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And you, my love, you hold that feminine energy inside of you. When you show up in your relationship as the beautiful feminine woman that you are, you have so much peace. The man feels so much peace, and the relationship ends up being beautiful for the both of you. When you're out of sync with that, it creates tension, disharmony, and it also affects you as a woman, mentally and physically, because you're not showing up authentically as who God created you to be. So I want you to go ahead and sit back, relax, get something to drink, get something to write with, and let's talk about this. If you're a woman who's struggling to feel feminine in a relationship and you realize that you are acting in these very masculine ways, it is typically tied to some form of trauma, some wound that you're holding in yourself that has not been healed. And that's why you can't do these things that you know is going to bring peace and harmony to the relationship. You have to be a feminine woman. You can't just act feminine. You can't just do the things that people say to do if on the inside you are fighting yourself to do it. I would say one of the most difficult things for women to embrace when it comes to femininity and their relationships is their ability to receive. Women struggle with this, and it's very interesting because we want things so bad. We desperately want things, yet when we're given those things, it's hard for us to accept them. This can be gifts, it can be compliments, it can be direction, it can be anything, even a compliment. It's difficult to be able to accept it because there's something inside of you that may be saying, I don't deserve this. What do I have to do to keep this? Can I keep this on forever? What does he really see in me? There are so many questions and conflict on the inside. And there's tension and worry that's also happening on the inside. The thing about men is that men love to give. It is their greatest desire to be able to provide for their women and for their families. This is what gives a man his confidence, is knowing that he is satisfying you, that he is giving you a life that you want. And when you cut that off from him, you rob him of his joy. And this is why sometimes you'll see men and they will be like these great, successful, good guys, and they're dating or harboring a woman in their home, letting her sleep there, paying for all her bills, taking care of her, and she's maybe like someone who's living as a prostitute or someone who's like just kind of a mess, just down on her luck, and life has been really hard for her. And you wonder, why is this guy dealing with this? It's because men have a great desire and need to provide. It energizes them. And women who need it, but maybe are pretty toxic, oftentimes come across men and are able to get that from them. But the women who are healthy and who are, just trying to be in a normal, clean relationship cannot accept it. And sometimes they end up being in their masculine and giving too much and giving so much to men because, again, they're trying to figure out, why does he like me? How do I keep him? What if this doesn't last forever? I don't want to make him spend all this time on me, spend all this money on me. I don't want to stress him out. I don't want to inconvenience him. And so you're giving. And that at the end of the day, you end up feeling resentful. Because that's not in your nature to be giving so much. And it's not in his nature to be receiving so much. And so there ends up being conflict and resentment. So the concept that I want you to hold on to as we talk about these things is that you are worthy. You are worthy of being in a healthy relationship with a wonderful, healthy, masculine man who genuinely wants to give to you, who genuinely wants to provide a beautiful life for you, who wants to see you happy, and who will do everything in his power to see you happy. You are worthy of that. Until you believe that, until you accept that, until you live in that, you will not be able to show up as feminine. Because feminine women have boundaries. They know when they're doing too much. They know when the guy's not doing enough. They know how to get what they want in the most graceful, feminine way without feeling bad about it. You won't be able to get your needs met or believe that this man genuinely wants you if you are not truly healed. If this man that you're in a relationship with genuinely likes you and wants you, he wants you to be happy. When you're in your feminine, when you are healed, when you know your worth, you show up with joy. You are genuinely happy on the inside. Men live for that. That is why he's doing everything he's doing, is because he wants to see you happy. And when you're with a man who's asking you all the time, are you okay? Is there something wrong? Why are you, looking like that? First of all, that's actually a good sign because that shows that you're not usually like that. So he knows something is off. But if he's always asking you if something is wrong, then it means that you're not showing up as happy. You're not showing up as someone who he is pleasing, and he takes that personally. That is so important to him, that you actually look happy and that you seem happy with your life, because he takes on that responsibility of bringing you whatever you need so that you can be happy. So it looks like he's not doing his job, and then he will feel defeated. And when he starts to feel that enough, he'll say, you know what? I just can't make you happy. And then he'll leave. So sweetie, it is absolutely necessary that you address the areas in your life that you have experienced trauma. You must heal from that wounded feminine energy so that you can show up and stop living in a masculine, guarded, broken state. In order to really show up as feminine and believe that you are feminine, you have to have a sense of vulnerability. You have to have the ability to depend on a man that you can trust. You have to be vulnerable. And it's difficult, almost impossible, and not really so wise either, to be vulnerable if you have been hurt. Whether this trauma was through childhood, where you were just living in the situation, or you had parents that did not value you. They did not show you the love that you needed. They made you feel like you were a burden. They did things to you. So many of you ladies have actually been harmed physically in ways that are completely disturbing, unacceptable. And those very things are what's keeping you from being feminine. I have an entire playlist that I really want you to watch if you're struggling with this, because it's not just about watching content on how to be feminine and what is it like to be masculine. Like, I think you already know that by now. It's time for you to seek healing and understanding of where you are. So I invite you to watch my playlist called Fiercely Feminine, where I talk about how you can heal from all of these different issues that are probably impacting your femininity, so that you can actually start unlearning and relearning how to show up as a woman that you know you really are. So there's actually a story in the Bible where there are two sisters, Mary and Martha, and Jesus was coming over. And so Martha was in the kitchen, like making everything and trying to just get the house prepared because she's very hospitable and wanted everything to be perfect. So while she's doing all of this, Jesus is there, and her sister, Mary, is just sitting at Jesus' feet, listening to everything that he's saying, all of his stories. She's just like engrossed with Jesus, while Martha is like busting her butt in the kitchen. So Martha gets upset and she's like, she's not helping me. And she comes to Jesus and tells him, like, she's not helping me out in the kitchen. Like, come on, say something to her, right? So when you think about this concept, that's like a very feminine thing that Martha's doing. Like, she's trying to be a good host, very hospitable, and she's in the kitchen just trying to make the best meal and the best presentation for her guests. That's a very feminine thing. But she's doing it in this way where she's not happy. She's not joyful because she's angry about what her sister's doing. She's angry that she feels like what her sister's doing is not valuable or important, or at least it's not as valuable and as important as what she's doing, right? So I love what Jesus says, because what he says, I think, speaks to this question that you ladies have in terms of your femininity. The Lord Jesus answered her, and he says this: Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has made the right choice, and it will not be taken away from her. And this is out of Luke chapter 10, verses 41 and 42. Okay, so don't you just love that? He spoke right to the real core issue. He said, Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things. It's not just the fact that she had to clean up and that Mary is listening to him that was upsetting her. There's just so much happening inside of her. But what she's doing is actually the right thing in this scenario. It's more important than the hustle and the bustle. And so this speaks to this exact situation with you ladies who are struggling. You are worried and upset about so many things. And that's why you can't just show up as feminine. That's why you can't just relax. That's why you can't just take in and listen and get direction and insight and the things that you need. That's why you're performing and you're trying to win this man. But you're also upset that you have to do that. You're also upset that you're doing too much and you can't put boundaries and say, I'm tired, I need a break, I need help. Because you're pouring in and doing so much when it's not necessary for you to do. So I think that this is a beautiful passage to reflect upon and pray about, because with all of these things, some of it is just like physical issues and things of the past and things that your mind has to kind of reset on. And some of these things are spiritual. There are spiritual entities that are affecting your behavior. There are spirits that are showing up and influencing the way that you act. So it's deeper than just your willingness to be a certain way. And so we have to address all of those things. So I want to give you some practical things and some ways that you can kind of start working on this, because obviously we know that it's from a hurt, it's from a wound, it's from pain. You're responding through your pain. And that's why you can't be the feminine woman that you know you really are. But there are steps and there are ways that you can start to just kind of unmask this veil that you put upon yourself and show up as the authentic you. It's important for you to know what it looks like to be a feminine woman in a relationship. What should the man be doing? Sometimes you may be doing too much. Sometimes you may be doing just enough, but maybe you're being too hard on yourself, or maybe he's being unreasonable. So it's important to really dive into understanding the dynamics and understanding your role and how you're showing up. And once you know what that looks like, then you can start some of the other things, like going to therapy, finding a therapist that can sit with you and work with you through these issues. And you can actually present like, okay, this is kind of what I want to be like. This is what I want to be able to do when I'm struggling with this. And the therapist can guide you. I also recommend that you reach out to your church. If you're not connected to a church, then get connected to a church and find a family of believers that can walk with you through this journey. If you're healing, you need support. You need people who understand spiritual things. You can have a pastor or someone in the church to pray for you, pray with you, help you understand what's going on around you. Things that you may not really understand. There may be things that are going on spiritually that you don't quite understand. Here you are beating yourself up when there's actually something more serious going on that you can attack in a completely different way. So it's important to get that spiritual advice and the psychological help. And with the spiritual advice and psychological help, there will be one common denominator that they're going to present to you. And that is you reshaping your thinking. You reshaping your thinking about who you are and about who he is and about the relationship. You will have to change your thinking. You will have to change your mind. You will have to start saying things that benefit you. You may have to start memorizing things, affirmations that can help you. You may have to just start consuming different kind of content, really immersing yourself in a feminine world. If you're really struggling with this and you really want to be different, obviously you do. That's why you requested this video, is because you actually really want this for yourself. Then do everything it takes. And eventually it won't take any of that stuff. You will completely transform into this woman that you won't need all this stuff anymore. But getting yourself there will take intentional decisions. And I always talk about this because it's so important. It's just surrounding yourself with feminine women. That is the easiest way. If you're around women that really are feminine, they're leaning in their femininity, they're in relationships with masculine men, they are positive, happy people, you will start to pick up on that. You will start to understand what that looks like, how to look at a problem and see it differently, how to make the most out of unfavorable circumstances. You'll start to pick up on that because that's what you're around. You can also ask those same people for advice, and they can give you different ways of looking at a situation that other people may give you awful advice. There's so much bad advice out there. It's actually very difficult to find sound advice when it comes to relationships. So it's important to be around these kinds of women. And not just physically, I always say this, also online, because we spend so much time on our phones. The people you follow, the people you watch on YouTube, it does not have to be femininity content, but whoever you're watching in any category, even if you're watching women talk about how to make a pot or how to spray your flowers or how to organize your closet, pick the most feminine women to watch. Every now and then I get completely confused because I'll come across a video of a woman talking about femininity, and she is the most masculine, aggressive woman giving tips on femininity. I see this often and I'm very confused. It's actually one of the reasons why I started my channel in the first place, because I saw content that was just so demeaning and the tone was just so abrasive and mean and completely unfeminine. Like, you're giving all of this feminine advice, but you yourself are not a feminine woman. To me, it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So even with femininity content, is a woman who's talking even feminine, whether or not you can see them? Are they speaking in a feminine way? Are they kind? Are they insulting men and women as they're giving you advice? All of this is what's going to start becoming red flags internally. As you start becoming more feminine, you will be able to see the real from the fake, and that will help you to be able to know how you're doing. And you can also practice with family. If you feel like you're struggling being a masculine woman, start practicing being more feminine and doing some of these things with your male family members. Not just your male family members, but I would say it's easier with the male family members, because if they're really masculine, it'll give you that male interaction that's often necessary for practice, because men react to things completely different, and you can kind of see how your behavior is affecting them, because it doesn't matter if it's your boyfriend, your husband, your brother, your dad. It's masculine energy, and they'll be able to be a really good marker on how you're doing. Now let's talk a little bit about you in your actual relationship and some tips that you can start kind of implementing to start practicing being more feminine. Of course, Showing up feminine is really important. Okay, him seeing that you're happy, again, that energizes the man, that makes him feel like he's doing his job, and that gives that relationship just a lot more beauty when you actually appear to be happy. But of course, you can't appear happy if you're not happy. But allowing him to be the man, giving him that space. So you can practice doing that by allowing him to do certain tasks for you. Learning how to get uncomfortable asking for things. Eventually, girl, you're not going to be uncomfortable. It'll become second nature, but you have to get started. Start practicing, asking him to do things. But when he does it, practice zipping it. Letting him follow through with it completely without your inputs and without your suggestions. So you can ask him like, you know, babe, I really want to go to the beach this summer. I have a new swimsuit that I really want to wear, and I know you're going to like it. So can we do that? So now he's going to be super excited thinking about your swimsuit, and he's going to pick a beach. He's going to find a beach or find a place. If you don't live by a beach, he'll find a place that you can go to. When he finds a place, don't say, oh, you picked this beach? I don't really like this beach. Don't do that. Just allow him to plan the entire day. Allow him to be able to take you to the beach and enjoy your time, and then compliment him and say, you did a really great job picking the beach. This was really fun. This was such a fun day. Thank you for doing this. Give him a compliment to validate him and let him know that you appreciate his efforts, even if it's not exactly what you wanted. This is how you build that trust in him, letting him do things and seeing that he is capable of doing those things. You can always give feedback at a later time. It's always about your timing. And you can let him know what you would prefer. Or you can say, okay, let's do another beach day. And you can pick it the next time. But giving him little things that are like his thing that he's going to do for you, where you are intentionally letting him have it completely without your inputs. Again, I don't know exactly which area you're struggling in terms of feeling masculine, so I don't know exactly what to speak on. I'm just giving some broad examples of things many women struggle with. One of those things is your communication with him. And I have an entire video that talks about how to talk to a man, how to talk to your man. So watch that video. It's very informative. But when he's talking, it's nice if you're struggling with this, to ask him questions about things you know nothing about. Because if you know something about whatever you're asking him, you have a higher chance of interrupting him, talking too much, overshadowing him. Ask him about something you don't know about. That'll allow him to feel good that you're interested in something that he knows a lot about. And you probably won't interrupt him. And if you do, it's because you're asking more questions, which shows your curiosity, and that's very attractive. So ask him about sports, or ask him about his hobby that you don't understand, his bug collecting hobby that he's had since he was 12. Ask him about something you could literally care less about, but you want to get him talking and you want to practice your listening skills. This will help you to learn how it looks like not to interrupt, to be interested, to smile, and to give him your undivided attention, and then watch his reaction. Watch how happy he's going to be talking to you about something he likes and talking to you in a way where he gets to lead and shine without any tension and interruptions. You will see a different man. You can also practice being more feminine if you're feeling very masculine by dressing up a little bit more. Feminine women put effort into their appearance. And if you're already in a relationship, then that's good. This guy has already been attracted to you. He likes the way you look. But you can feel more feminine when you dress up more. If you notice that you're starting to kind of fall off, you're wearing more sweats, you're starting not to put on makeup, you're starting to just look a little bit too shabby, then turn it up a notch. Even if you look okay, turn it up a notch. Because again, you're getting yourself into this feminine space. And turning it up a notch doesn't mean that you're wearing high heels to the movie theaters, unless you want to. What it means is that you are maybe wearing dressier clothes. Maybe you are wearing different colors, brighter colors, things that make you feel more like a woman. Maybe you're wearing more dresses. Maybe your dresses are a little bit more girly. Maybe the style is a little bit more suited for your body. Maybe you're just doing something like putting on perfume. A lot of you ladies, you're not smelling good. And I know this because you tell me, try putting on some perfume. You don't have to wear it every day. You don't have to wear a lot of it. But wearing fragrance really does boost your mood, and it helps you to just feel more beautiful. You already look beautiful, but when you smell beautiful, it is a completely different element that you bring, and you feel really nice. You experience memories different when there's a scent attached to it, and you're more attractive to him. And if you don't know, I actually have a fragrance line called Fine Forever. So I actually have plenty of perfume because I love smelling good. Smelling good is a huge part of my life. My home smells good, my car smells good, I smell good. People will always have a sensual experience when they're around me because I value scent. I value smelling good. I know what it does. So you can click the link below if you want to purchase any of my fragrances. This one is called Silent Storm, and it's a beautiful scent for the summer. It smells like something you'd wear like on the beach. But anyway, smell good. Do different things like wear jewelry. If you never ever put on a necklace, put a necklace on, put on some earrings, put on a bracelet, an anklet. Just do something to kind of amp up your physical appearance. Get your nails done. Maybe from time to time, change your hairstyle or wear lashes or wear brighter lipstick. Just do something that's gonna enhance that feminine nature that you have. This is exciting for you and for him, and it just opens you up. Being feminine is about being open. Don't always be so closed off. I'm not about to do that. You have no idea how many women I have spoken to who struggle so much in their marriage, and I give them advice because they ask me, oh girl, where did you get that? Oh girl, how do you do that? Oh girl. And I'm like, this is how you do it. And I tell them, I tell anyone if they ask because I want to genuinely help. And after I'm done, they're like, girl, I'm not about to do all that. I'm not gonna do all that. I ain't gonna do all that. I'm like, okay, well then you're not gonna have all that either. You're just not. And they think that these things are just too much work, too hard, but yet they are truly struggling with their husbands. Their husbands appreciate this. I remember, just really fast, I remember one lady I was talking to, and she was one of the women who had asked me about this, and I told her, and she's like, I'm not about to do all that. And I remember actually meeting her husband one day, and they had a conversation afterwards, and I came up, and then her husband told her, now I see why her husband does this and that for her. No, I get it. I see it now. I see it. And it's not about my personality, but a lot of it was just the way that I showed up. And she told me this, and she's like, dang, maybe I do need to try a little harder, right? Because you think that maybe your man is so used to you, it doesn't really matter, but it does matter. And they do notice, and they do value it when they see it in women. And this is part of your relationship, is you bringing whatever you have. And you have yourself. So put effort into yourself because it's good for you and it'll bless your relationship. Turn it up a notch. A couple other things, I don't want this to be too long, and I actually will extend this a little bit for the podcast. So if you've never listened to my podcast, you can find me at the Dr. Daff Show, and I'm gonna have this exact episode, but I'm probably gonna just add a little bit more to it so that this YouTube video is not too long. But another thing that I'll add is to not text as much. When you're a feminine woman, you enjoy that like feminine companionship, whether it's with girls, with your family, with your man. And a lot of that gets lost with text messages. A lot of times there's a lot of arguing and a lot of like confusion with text messaging. So I would say if you're struggling with being too masculine, text a little bit less and instead call him. Have more phone conversations where you can express yourself and he can hear your voice, and you can really connect in a deeper way than over text messaging. You can also use emojis. If he sends you a message and he's like, how's your day going? Tell me, what's going on. You can say it's going great. I can't wait to talk to you later about it. And put a little heart or a couple hearts. Add some emojis. You can even respond sometimes with just emojis where you don't even say anything and allow him to guess or allow him to wonder or allow him to look forward to it when he talks to you. Because trust me, he will ask you about it. He's gonna follow up if you only responded with an emoji. So try, doing some creative stuff with texting. And when you have like things that are more serious going on, if you have a lot of drama in your life, or if you have something that you want to talk to him about, it's important to try to practice with other people or practice in front of the mirror. You may think this is stupid, but people who do speeches and people who are delivering important messages, they rehearse it. just stand in front of the mirror and talk to him. Tell him what you want to say in front of the mirror first so that you can see your tone, you can see your face, and you can practice. When you start talking, you can see, ooh, my tone got really high there. And when you do talk to him, you'll be able to pick that up. This is important. If you're really trying to change, you need to do things differently. This may seem like a lot of work, but if you want to be a certain kind of person, it's going to take work. People are the way they are for a reason. They worked on it. And the final thing that I will say in terms of you just trying to be more feminine and working on it, not feeling so masculine, is thinking about what you do for yourself every week that makes you feel feminine. Think about your schedule. Think about your life. What are you doing that when you do it, you feel very feminine? You feel like a woman. You feel good. And not feeling good like in a way that you're taking drugs or alcohol or doing something like that. Feeling good like you're feeling connected to yourself. Do you dance? Do you sing? Do you go to the spa? Do you get your nails done? Do you go shopping? What are you doing for yourself during the week? Are you spending time with children or animals? Are you taking care of your plants? There are so many things that you can do that connect you, that ground you to your femininity. Are you doing those things? Spend at least one day a week doing something that makes you feel feminine. Connect with other women. That feminine energy, when it's combined, oh, it's so beautiful. It just blooms. You just come home smelling good, smiling, feeling really lifted because you're around feminine energy. And that's how your boyfriend or husband will feel too when he's around your feminine energy. You will lift him. You will ground the relationship in your love, in your beauty, and in your grace. And your boyfriend or your husband will feel more connected to you when you are in your feminine. I thank you so much for being here and listening to this message. I hope that this helped you and just gave you a roadmap, just to kind of lean into as you start embracing who God called you to be. You can find me at the Dr. Daff Show for more content on femininity and on relationships. You can also reach out to me on Instagram at the Dr. Daff Show and at Dr. Michelle Daff. And if you have more video requests, let me know. Leave me a comment and be sure to like this video if you liked it and share it because it really does help me and it helps me to know what's really working for you ladies and what you could use more tips on. I love you and I will see you in the next video. Mwah! Bye-bye.